Okay, our next section is factoring quadratic equations. I'm going to take you through a couple different things of factoring just to kind of get you prepped. This will help you find the zeros of an equation and interpret what they mean. So some basic factoring always includes making sure to factor out your GCF. So we can see that the greatest common factor here is 2. And remember, the biggest thing is that when we are factoring, that needs to stick around so we can turn it back into what we are looking for, back into the original. The greatest common factor here is 5x, x squared plus 25. Okay. A difference of squares, square root both sides. One is adding and one is subtracting. And it doesn't matter what order they're in, just remember square root, got to be separated by a subtraction sign. Always check for a greatest common factor in case it doesn't look like a difference of squares. Remember, 1 is a perfect square. If there is an a value associated with the x squared, you need to double check if they are both perfect squares, in which case they are. Okay. Y to the power of 4, this is a perfect square. It breaks down into 2y squareds. This one is not done because this is still a difference of squares. So that's y minus 2, y plus 2, and y squared plus 4. Even if they are fractions, they are perfect squares. So this is a perfect square, this is a perfect square, this is a perfect square, this is a perfect square. So it'll be 1/2 x plus 4 over 7y multiplied by 1/2 x minus 4 over 7y. Okay. Trinomials, these are easy trinomials, so you're just looking for a product and a sum. So our product, we need two numbers that multiply to -4, and a sum of two numbers that add to 3, and my numbers there would be 4 and -1. So then x plus 4, x minus 1. Looking for a product, two numbers that multiply to 8, and a product of, and a sum, sorry, of two numbers that add to -6. So that should be -4 and -2. So x minus 4, x minus 2. This is a perfect square trinomial because these are both squares. So then this is x plus 3 squared. This one is factoring by decomposition, so make sure to apply the 4 and the 6 together. So you are looking for a product of two numbers that multiply to 24, but sum to -11, and it should be -8 and -3. So then this will be 6x squared minus 8x minus 3x plus 4. Center down. The greatest common factor on the left is 3x, and the greatest common factor here, oh, I put mine in the wrong order. That's fine. So the greatest common factor between 6x squared and 8x is 2x. And then the greatest common factor here is -1. So that should leave me with 3x minus 4 and 3x minus 4. Take this. So then our final answer is 3x minus 4 and 2x minus 1. Yeah, looks good. Okay, next one is again factoring by decomposition, so make sure to apply here. Looking for two numbers that multiply to -12, but sum to -4, that should be -6 and +2. So then this becomes 3x squared minus 6x plus 2x minus 4. Break it down. Greatest common factor is 3x. Greatest common factor is 2. So this leaves me with x minus 2, x minus 2. So my final answer is 3x plus 2 bracket, 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 x minus 2 bracket. Okay, last one. We apply here. So two numbers that multiply to 96, but sum to -4. We are looking at, that should be -96. We are looking at -12 and 8. Yeah, that'll work. So then 12x squared minus 12x plus 8x minus 8. That leaves me with greatest common factor of 12x and 8x, which leaves me with x minus 1, x minus 1. So then there's also a greatest common factor in here. Sorry, that's not an x, that's just 8. So then 12x plus 8 and x minus 1. Factor here is 4. So then 3x plus 2 and x minus 1. Okay, I do have extra practice here. This is a Quizlet that I've made. These are factoring flashcards. There are games for you to play on there. Get lots of practice with this. This is key skills. Key skills. Okay, let's apply the quadratic equation. The length of an outdoor lacrosse field is 10 meters less than twice the width. The area of the field is 6,600 meters squared. Please determine the dimensions of the outdoor lacrosse field. Okay, so we know that area is equal to length times width. We know our area is 6600 equal to, we know that the length is 10 less than twice the width. So then twice the width minus 10 multiplied by w. So then this would be 2w squared minus 10w minus 6600. Okay, because we're just going to subtract this over. So that equals 0. Then we can do some factoring. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to factor out a GCF. So then I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to negative 3,300, but sum to -5. That should be -60 and 55. So then this breaks down into 2w minus 60 and w plus 55. So this means that w equals -55 and w equals 60. That is the zeros of it. So the dimensions of the outdoor lacrosse field, the width is equal to 60, which means that the length, meters, is equal to 110 meters. Yeah. Now let's do another application problem. A water slide ends with the slider dropping into a deep pool of water. The path of the slider after leaving the lower end of the slide can be approximated by the following quadratic function, where h is the height, and we need to find the horizontal distance they travel before dropping into the pool after leaving the lower end of the slide. So we need to find when our y value equals 0, is basically what it comes down to. Because we want to find the distance. So then let's factor out our -1/6. That leaves me with a positive d squared plus d minus 12. So we are looking for a product of negative 12 and a sum of positive 1. That's an easy one. We do that one a lot. For negative 3. So then that means that negative 1/6 bracket d plus 4 and d minus 3. So the distance they travel is 3. Probably meters. No, feet. Had to try and find our units there. Both in feet. Perfect. So questions are down below. I do recommend, if you want more practice factoring, to do those Quizlet cards. I made those when I was tutoring, so I know they're good questions. If you have any questions, please let me know.